welcome to the Stash and Notions podcast, coming to you from Bacchus Marsh in Victoria, Australia. My name is Penelope and you can find me on both Ravelry and Instagram as Miss Red Pen. Today is Saturday the 17th of September 2016 and this is episode 4, Knit Free or Stash Hard, with a bit of a nod to Bruce Willis there. Well, thank you for joining me again if you're a returning viewer, and a big hello to anyone who's stopped in for the first time. Grab yourself a glass of something fun, you're knitting, and let's have a chat. How are you? I hope you've had a good couple of weeks. Mine have been not the couple of weeks I was expecting, that's for sure. I ended up getting that cold that's been going around and basically have been out of action for about a week. Had the last 3 days off work, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you would think that would be hooray, more knitting time, but no, this cold got me in ways that I was not expecting, and I had joint pain in my hands of all things, and most of the time I could knit for a little bit and then I had to stop, or not at all because it was just too much without a lot of painkillers. So it was 3 days of pretty much wasted time watching the Gilmore Girls, which I guess for some people really isn't a waste of time, but not as productive as it could have or should have been. Speaking of Gilmore Girls, I am totally excited about the mini-series that is coming out on Netflix or not in November. But in the meantime, I'm just going to work my way through the old episodes. Really enjoying rewatching it, except for a couple of things which I will blather about right at the end of the episode. If you want to hear me rant on about my opinions of Gilmore Girls, watching it again as someone who is significantly older than they were the last time I watched it. Alright, today's segments we are going to cover off finished objects, works in progress, stash stories, and the knit along that I'm hosting. So without any further ado, let's move on to the first segment. So this first segment today is finished objects. I have 2 knitted objects to show you today. The first one being a work in progress I showed you in the last episode, which was the scarf, which is a replica of the one worn by the character Beaufort in the Hobbit movies. So here it is in all of its completed glory, and I might take a picture of it to show you wearing it. Now I did make it for the husband, so there we go, we can see, oh, wrong way around. Yes, so I made it for the husband to wear, but he's not going to wear it and I'm not going to wear it. And the reason, as I suspected when I was making it, is the yarn is very scratchy. Like, I had it on for about 30 seconds before I had to take it off because it was just driving the back of my neck where it was touching my skin absolutely crazy. And Husband had it on for probably half that amount of time before he was demanding I rip it off. So it's unwearable for us, but it will make a very decorative object, and Thatcher, the Iron Lady in the background, may be sporting it for a few of the future episodes. Bit disappointed because, you know, it wasn't the cheapest project. I think 3 the balls, which came in this rather pretty little black box with the pattern, set me back about 45 New Zealand dollars for 150 grams of yarn. I suppose that's actually not too bad, come to think of it, but I would have liked to have had, you know, a product that was wearable and comfortable. So I guess that's something that lesson learned for next time. If it's not merino, it's probably something we can't wear close to our skin. The second one that I'm going to show you came off the needles late yesterday afternoon. I was kind of, because I couldn't knit as fast as I wanted to, as I mentioned, but it's off the needles and the ends are in. It just needs blocking and then it is finished, and it's the waiting for rain shawl that has been going on. I ended up not bothering doing the extra repeat that I talked about after messing up the pattern, because one, I kind of had enough of knitting on it, but two, I thought it was a really good size and shape that by doing the extra segment it would kind of throw out the balance, if you know what I mean. So here it is, all finished, and again I will block it probably later on, but I won't have a picture up for this episode, but check in on Instagram or on the project page next week and you might get a picture of it then. But yeah, it's really snuggly, and with the weather having turned a bit crap again in the last week, who knows, there might be a chance to wear it before it gets too hot for nice thick fluffy yarns again. Yeah, and a shout out to Gin and Tonic on this yarn. It was such a lovely yarn to work with, and I think in the not too distant future there's probably going to be a little bit more of your product going into my stash. So with that, let's move on to the next segment. I have 3 works in progress to show you today, 2 spinning ones and a knitting project. The first spinning project is a kind of, well, both of the spinning projects are not just new projects but new to me techniques or products. The first one, and I will apologise right now for the rattling of the packet, but it's necessary and you'll see why. I'm using a bat, and it's from Ishell Bunny. There's the tag, and I will pull this bat out of the bag in a second. When I first got my spinning wheel a couple of years ago, I decided to join one of her clubs, and she had an option of getting either bats or tops in these colourways, and because I knew nothing about what I was doing, I picked both. I'll just move this away so I can get it out of the bag. This is the braid. And they both contain the same fibres and the same colourways. They've just been put together slightly differently, and the bat, as you can see, has some extra interesting stuff on the top of it there. So it was her Rose Bunny from her November 2014 club, and it contained organic merino, cashmere, tencel, suri, rose and angora. So quite a big blend of things there. Let's see, there it is. This is how the bat comes when you unroll it. This is about half of it or slightly less, and then it just tearing it into strips to spin. I've been doing it in very small little fluffy bits and joining them together to try and get some of the colours to come out similar to the way they are on the braid. Here it is on the wheel. Not sure how well this is going to go, lifting it up and showing you, but I didn't want to take it off until it was done. Oh, look at that, that's not too bad. So you can see a couple of those interesting bits on the top of the bat have kind of popped out along the way. And what I'm thinking of doing is plying it together with the top into, like, you know, having one big skein of all the fibres together. The bat that I'm spinning at the moment, I'm just letting it come off onto the wheel as it wants. So it is a bit thick and thin. It's reasonably even, but you know, it's got a couple of bumpy bits, and then the extra little bonusy bits that are on the top there are just coming off to add some characters. So when I go back to the top, I will try and spin that one as smoothly and consistently as possible, and then ply them together using my new jumbo bobbin. Check this out. When I bought my wheel, it actually was sold to me with a jumbo or art yarn flyer, so I didn't have to bother about getting that. But yes, I now have a giant bobbin as well, so that I can spin it all together, and I'll see how I go. But that has been an absolute dream to spin up, and it's coming along so quickly. It drafts well, and it just feels really nice in your hands. But when I first opened it up, because it's so fluffy, It was like having a whole bunch of little rabbits all over the place, just the way the Angora fluffs up. It was fun. And I didn't know it was going to fluff the way that it has, and so after my first session of spinning, you know, I'm basically covered from neck to knee in Angora fluff. But as I go, I'm sort of getting used to keeping it all together and learning how to, you know, keep it tidy and stuff. So it's coming along, but yeah, if I keep going at the rate I am, it'll all be off the wheel and plied up by the time we meet again. So that's that one. Just going to tidy up. Next one is the other spinning project. Now I'm doing this, and I just started it yesterday. Oh, hang on. It is on a Turkish spindle. It's the first time I've actually used a Turkish spindle, or really gotten the hang of any kind of drop spindling, to be honest. And the yarn is now again, I'll apologise if I mispronounce this, Tarned Warm Court. I think everyone just calls them Tarndy. And it's Polwarth and Mulberry Silk tops. And I got this at Bendigo in 2014 as well. So there's the little card. Look at that. So the Turkish spindle is one I got from Kickstarter earlier this year. I think it's called Snyder Spindles on Etsy, and you can pick them up. But the little arms on the spindle are all printed to your own colour choices using a 3D printer. So as you can see, I put light blue and green together with the hope of kind of getting a teal colour showing up when it spins. Didn't actually quite work that way, but so Scott Snyder, if you ever see this and me talking about the Destiny spindles, if you ever release a teal colour for the arms of the spindle, I will probably run out and buy a new one. The Turkish spindle, come to think of it, it's actually not that bad once you understand or have a better grasp on drafting and pre-drafting and how the whole drop spindling thing works, which last time I tried to do it, I really didn't know what I was doing, and it was a big mess, and I thought it was too hard and I wasn't going to ever come back to it. But for some reason I thought, yeah, I'll give it a go. I'll pick a yarn. Hang on a minute. Oh, stupid cough. Yeah, today's drink is just mineral water with lemon in it because it's not a good idea to drink when you're sick. Yes, using the fibre has been okay. It's easy to draft. The spinning of the top is easy to do, you know. It's just practice, I think. So I will put it along on that when I don't feel like pulling out the big wheel or working on my knitting projects, which are slowly diminishing in number, I have to say. As I get things finished, I'm not casting on new things. So I guess before long I might end up being a monogamous knitter. Probably not, but we'll see how we go. Speaking of knitting, the one project I'm going to show you today is the tiny little bit that I have done on my Transitions Knit Along project. So I will talk more about the actual knit along in the next segment, but I have done about 2/3 of a repeat and then I stopped. And I stopped with good reason, because I've decided that the needles, which are the Knit Pro carbons, they're just too slippery for picking up all the knit 2 togethers and slip knits and this knit 9 into 3 or 3 into 9 Estonian star thing that I'm doing. So I had this big idea that when I was in the city after work on Wednesday that I would go to Morris & Sons and get new tips and carry on. But of course that plan went to hell in a handbasket because of the 3 days homesick. So it's just going to sit there until probably Monday, Tuesday next week, until I get to Morrison Sons and get the new tips. And in hindsight, it probably would have been quicker and easier for me to have ordered some online, but that's the way it goes. So yes, hopefully in a fortnight when we meet again, I will have more on the needles to show you. The yarn is fine to work with. I have no complaints about it. It's an alpaca silk blend, but I think this is going to work okay. It's just going to take me some time to get into it until I get the needles right. Get a bit more confident with the pattern, as it is quite complicated. At least it only has lace work on the right side rows, and the wrong side rows are just all pearl rows. Pattern that I'm working on, it is the Mountain Lily scarf from the Needles and Artifice novel pattern book that I have mentioned before. Alright, I think that brings us to the end of this segment. Let's move on. Today's Stash Stories segment, try saying that quickly 6 times, is all incoming stash acquisitions. I guess I went on a bit of a buying rampage in the last couple of weeks, and now it's all kind of come in and I've got lots of funky things to show you. First one though I didn't buy. I was lucky enough to win a competition running on another podcast. So thanks to Chantel from Fiberific, I won in her competition this pinwheel lace. I don't know what the colourway is, so Chantel, if you see this, can you let me know in the comments below. It is 90% merino and 10% silk, and there's 100 grams here and about 680 meters. Not sure yet what this one's going to become. I will pop it in the stash. I add it to Thatcher's collection, and in time it will speak to me and tell me what it wants to be. Possibly maybe the pinwheel circular shawl pattern on Ravelry. Pinwheel lace, pinwheel pattern, are they matched? Only time will tell. But in the meantime, thank you again, Chantel, and this feels so lovely that I am really looking forward to working with it, hopefully not too far into the future. The next one that I'm going to show you is a fibre. I bought it from Shepherdess, who I believe is a fellow Victorian dyer, and this is a Suri alpaca braid in a bluey tealy kind of colourway there. It's showing up a little bit bluer on screen than it is in real life, but it was another one of those ones. I saw it and it had to be mine because, you know, the colour, what can I say? And I haven't really spun with pure alpaca before. It'll be kind of interesting to see how it comes up. I might mix it or apply it with something else as I go. Not sure. Again, I guess it will speak to me and tell me what it wants to become when I get to it. Following on from that was another tealy colourway that I had to have. It's still in its packet because it was so beautifully wrapped. I had to show you the packaging as well. Look at that. And it's really nice plastic, so it's probably not that good for the environment, but it looks so nice either way. It's packed up there with its little bow. And so this came from Tumac Valley Yarn, and it is a sock blend with merino and stellina, and oh, there's some nylon in there too. I'm just going to open it now. We have a pair of scissors here somewhere. Just had them. Hunting for scissors. Oh, there they are, buried away under the pile of stuff. It comes with, oh, there's a fridge magnet. Check it out. And a cute little note. Oh, hey, look at that. So it says, thanks so much, Penelope, enjoy, on that side. There's the card. Thanks, Nicole. And then on the back is the instructions on how to knit the two blanks together. So knitted sock blanks are designed in a way that you can knit the two socks together and they will be matching. So it's been dyed. Check it out. Again, this is showing up a bit bluer. It is really quite aqua teal gradient, going from quite a light shade at this end through to the dark at the other end. So what I did, I put in an order with Fiberific, and you'll see a little bit more of that in the next segment. But I also got two double pointed needles, as I decided I would learn to knit 2 at a time socks on 2 circulars. So I've got the needles, I've got the 2 at a time sock blank ready to go, and again, I don't know what's going on with yarn at the moment, but everything I've been buying and putting my hands on, it just feels so good. Oh, yay. Keep it up, everyone. Yes, so 2 2.5mm double points, sock blank, socks. What pattern I'm going to do, I haven't decided yet, but something probably not too complicated as I learn out how to do the 2 needle magic. I'm going to use the tutorial from Very Pink Knits to do it. Out of all the different tutorials that I've been watching over the years since I started knitting, Very Pink Knits just is the one that the way she explains stuff makes sense to me. She breaks it down in a way that is simple without being condescending, which is very important. But the way that she shows you as well, just like the step-by-step instructions, both visually and verbally, makes sense to me. Now, like I said, that might not be the case for everybody, but it's the one that works for me. The last one is a yarn which is actually quite similar in its colour profile to the Gin and Tonic one, I've just realised. Guess I know my colours here. This is a green one from Little Yellow Cat. Little Yellow Cat is a dyer that's also based in Victoria, just a little bit further west from me. I bought it on Etsy, and she mentioned she was going to post it from Melbourne CBD the following day, and I sort of mentioned, you know, I work in the city too, why don't we meet up in person and have a bit of a knit and you can give me the yarn. And she said, well, I'm probably be on the same train as you in the morning, why don't we have a sit and knit on the train? And so I said, why not, let's do that. And so we exchanged all the necessary details and met in person, and I was hand delivered my yarn, which is so awesome. And this colourway is called Christmas Beetle, and it is a 75-25 merino nylon blend. There's about 400 meters in this 100 grams, and it's another really squishy, fluffy, you know, airy kind of yarn that is going to become socks as well. Seem to be on a bit of a sock bent at the moment. It was really lovely meeting Jennifer, the dyer behind this yarn, and it'd be great if we run into each other again on the train. In the meantime, happy knitting, and let's move on. This next segment is just a bit of a reminder about the Transitions Knit Along or Craft Along that the podcast is hosting. It kicked off last week on the 9th of September and is running through until, update, Friday the 29th of October. I had originally proposed that it would end on Sunday the 23rd, but I've decided to extend it out a week now. Just because my recording schedule being the fortnightly schedule that I've set it to, Friday the 29th is the day before my next recording, so that gives everyone time to finish off, and that is midnight, rolling over from the 29th to the 30th, Australian Eastern Standard Time. It's running on both the Ravelry group for Stash and Notions. Take a drink. And it's also over on Instagram as well, and you can be involved in the Knit Along Craft Along by using the hashtags Stash and Notions and Transitions Cal. Just a word on that. I did discover after I'd sort of done all the prep work and the planning and got this all organised and together that there is a another make along called Transition as well, happening at roughly the same time, but the rules and requirements for that one are quite different, so please use the Cal and not the Mal hashtag if this is the one you want to be involved in. There are prizes for the Knit Along Craft Along, which I will get to very shortly, but to be eligible you need to make an item for either yourself or someone you think is gift worthy, an item that will take them through from the current season, so whether it's spring or autumn, through to your next season, being obviously summer or winter. And it can be pretty much anything you like that fits within that category. So it can be knitting or crochet or sewing or weaving, I guess. Whatever you think is appropriate and fits within the brief. And yes, as I said, I do have prizes. I have one for Ravelry, one for the chatter thread, and one for the finished objects thread on the group. The prizes are the little stashed Notions tins that I have been making. So you get a little tin that looks like this. I've got a few different prints on the tins, but they're all roughly the same size. And in the tins, they come fully kitted out. So under the lid, there's a little magnet, and attached to the magnet is a darning needle. There is then a little measuring tape, and by little I mean probably standard size there. So they all look like this, and then there is a little pair of snips, assuming the rest of them come in the post, because Australia Post, everybody. So yes, a little pair of snips, a 1 part stitch marker, 1 part row counter, and yes, they do actually work. Isn't that pretty? So yes, you can use this as, you know, you can either just stick it on your needle and slide it back and forth, you won't lose it, or you can use it as a row round marker as you go as well, or just put it, you know, 1 or 2 stitches in, and then just every second row or every round when you get to it, you can just wind it along and keep track. And last but not least, and this is something I'm very excited about, I have collaborated with Fiberific to bring you a mini pack of Blinglet stitch markers. Now these, I've already talked about them before, they are snag free, and these are the medium size, which will take you up to a needle of 4.5 millimeters, and so you get 5 of one colour and then a 6th one in an contrasting colour, so that if you're just wanting to use these and you need to keep track on rounds or something, or to do, you know, something different, you've got that very obvious different stitch marker. So that is the little prize pack, and again, in the bottom of the tin, this is the other neat feature, is I have handmade these little felted inserts, partly as a way to keep things from slipping around in the tin, and partly as a way to keep things a little bit quieter. And last but not least, on the back of the tin you will see I've put my little logo. So that's it. I hope you think they're kind of alright, that these tins have everything that is kind of essential to a Notions kit, but let me know what you think of these, as I've just put these together with a bit of an, you know, idea about what I think is needed in a knitting or crochet Notions tin. So yeah, any feedback you have would be welcome. But that's pretty much it. And yes, remember to hop on to the Ravelry group and get into the thread if you're participating, and have a chatter and let me know how you're going. Show me pictures of what you're doing, because this is kind of a way for me to interact with you. And let's move on to the final segment. So we've come to the end of all of the knitting and spinning and fibre content for the day. I said right back at the start that I would have a bit of a rant about the Gilmore Girls, so that's going to happen now. If you don't want to stick around for that, that's cool. I totally get that, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Otherwise, sit tight and let's talk about the Gilmore Girls. I'm up to episode 17 or 18 of season 2. So Rory and Dean have had their breakup and get back together, and Jess is now on the scene. Actually, the episode that I just got to was the one where Luke starts expanding the apartment above the diner so that there's actually room for Jess to live with him as well. But the thing that's been getting me and driving me mad this time watching it, I don't know if it's from a position of age or having seen it all before, is just the way that Dean treats Rory. It's like, come on, you are being emotionally abusive and manipulative and controlling, and I know some of that is just a reflection of how a 16-year-old boy with all the hormones and stuff running through their veins would probably behave, but it's just a little over the top, and the whole trust factor, and, you know, Rory can do so much better than that. Yes, I have seen it before, and I know where the story's going, but oh God, just the way he behaves is really driving me mad right now. I can't wait for it to be, you know, the next bit of this, you know, over and done with. But the other interesting thing is kind of watching the interplay between Emily and Lorelai, and watching how Emily's character has become a little bit more multi-dimensional as the series has progressed. You know, right back at the start of season 1, she was very, very, you know, socialite snob kind of thing, and everything has to be done in a particular way for appearance sake rather than as being something that you really want to do. So watching her sort of grow and evolve and have a bit more personality and the depth to the character has been really interesting, particularly the play. Hang on a second. Sort of the play on those dynamics with her husband Richard's mother in that episode where she came to stay as well. So anyway, that's probably enough about the Gilmore Girls. There's a few other things I could rant about, but I won't. That's probably it. Thanks if you stuck around to watch my rant. This is the end of the episode for this time. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and don't forget to subscribe, comment below, like the episode, share it. You know what, I'll just put this in here. I've got about 50 subscribers right now, and I really want to get to 100 so that I can have a custom URL. So if you know anybody who would like what I do, could you recommend that they subscribe to the channel as well? That would be ace. Yes, so thank you for watching, and